Hello, magical souls. Today we are going to be looking at everything to do with self-compassion. I know a lot of you are on holiday and doing various things away, and I think that's really, really wonderful. But I thought I will continue with the 5-week tapping that we've discussed. And I'd just like to start with talking about self-compassion today. So if we were to give ourselves the same kindness and care that we give to a good friend, that would be really, really, really good for us as sensitive people. And as sensitive people, we often take to heart the harsh criticisms that we receive from parents or guardians, from teachers and work colleagues. And this can result in us carrying around a lot of guilt or shame and feelings of unworthiness. Okay, that's what kind of happens. And if we were to look, for example, at the Buddhist culture, you will notice that they teach us to include compassion of ourselves and not just of others. That's part of their culture. And they come up with the idea that the same kindness, care, and concern we show to a good friend could and should be shown to ourselves. I think that's really, really relevant when we speak about spiritual people. We tend to be very, very sensitive and we take everything on board, and we tend to be a lot harsher on ourselves than others are. And now I just want to talk about self-confidence in one hand and self-esteem and how they are different from self-compassion. So self-esteem comes from quite an interesting place, and in our Western culture, it's important for all of us to feel very special and above average. And just think for a moment, if I said to you that you are quite average, that would really hurt, wouldn't it? Or if somebody said to me that, spiritual hour is very average, not really very special, that would hurt me, that would make me feel uncomfortable. And therefore, in our culture, we've kind of created this system that ensures that we have to talk ourselves up. And some studies are showing that narcissism is at the highest level ever recorded. And of course, what happens is less sensitive people, narcissists get into the habit of talking others down and feeling, to feed their own self-importance. Now, can you imagine, all of you, just thinking about for a moment how you've been on the receiving end of someone talking you down to make themselves feel better? So I can think of many, many occasions when I've experienced that, and it isn't very pleasant at all. And this brings me onto the subject of bullying. So we have an epidemic of bullying worldwide, going on. And we have to ask ourselves, why do kids bully? Why do they need to put others down to build up their own sense of self-esteem? And we also have to look at why prejudice and judgments against others tends to make us feel good about ourselves. Okay, if we succeed in those areas of our lives that we have aspired to, how do we get off this treadmill? So, and I think self-compassion relates to ourselves kindly. Sorry, hi Laura, hope you're very well. It's very, very quiet today. I think everybody's on holiday, and I have had quite a few private messages saying that people couldn't attend today. But carrying on, talking about self-compassion and how self-compassion relates to ourselves, kindly embracing ourselves as we are, and that includes the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, and there's 3 components that I want to talk to you today about self-compassion. So one is treating ourselves with kindness, okay, just like we treat our friends, with patience and kindness. And we can actually be quite cruel to ourselves, saying things that we would never ever say to another person, and we can actually be our own worst enemy. Does anyone want to share what they say to themselves, or what they used to say to themselves? I don't know, Laura, if you want to jump in the call now and add anything about that.
Yes, I have. I grew up with a critical father, so I am very critical of me, and I can support others. But with myself, I was I am still very critical.
Yeah, I totally get where you come from. I also have that same super critical father, and I can hear my self dialogue sometimes coming up and saying things like, you're very overweight. What is wrong with you? What on earth will people think of you if you wear that outfit? That's what I'm saying to myself. And this is really negative talk, and that's just on one subject. There's other subjects as well that we can actually end up talking ourselves into a very negative place. Yeah, so the first thing is treating ourselves with kindness. The second thing that we can look at in terms of self-compassion is finding a common thread to humanity. So self-compassion says, how am I the same as other people? How am I human? And are we perfect as a people? We are. We can share our human experience with other people, and we can often feel isolated in our humanity if we don't do that. And just think about how many millions of people out there would feel like that it's okay to be human, and it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to grow and things like that. So think about that when you start to think about changing how you feel about self-compassion. Now, the third thing we can think about is mindfulness, and that means being with what is in the present moment. Acknowledge that we are suffering to give ourselves compassion. We need to stop and recognize that we are suffering in order to give ourselves compassion. Sorry, I just repeated myself there. But yeah, so there's a lot of research that says that we believe our need of self-criticisms, there's a lot of research that suggests that we need to self-criticize ourselves to motivate ourselves. And if we don't, then we will be lazy and we won't get enough done. But there's further research that suggests that actually criticism is very negative, and it actually makes us spiral downwards. And I want to, at this moment, just bring up the thought process about the lizard brain. Our lizard brain talks about flight and fight. And when we're threatening ourselves, our lizard brain can receive this negative information about ourselves when we chastising ourselves, and it can feel like it's being attacked, and that releases cortisol in our brains, and our bodies can end up shutting themselves down, and then we become depressed and not motivated. So all this concept that if we chastise ourselves we'll do better is actually the opposite. We'll have the reverse effect on ourselves. So we really do need to bring self-compassion into our lives. But there is another way to feel safe. So we can tap into the caregiving system. So for example, mammals are born immature, which means that infants need to stay safe and close to their mothers. And research is showing that as humans, we respond very well to like a soft voice or a warm, gentle touch, a kindness. And when we give ourselves compassion, we reduce the cortisol and release opiates in our brain instead. And then when we feel that loving, warm feeling, we're then in this lovely place to perform optimally. Okay, so example, if we think about motivating children, imagine how you would motivate a child. If your child comes home with a bad grade, the one response on the one hand could be like, for example, my father would, even if he didn't say it, I can feel him thinking this, I'm ashamed of you, what a loser. Now think about how a child would respond to that and how they would feel demotivated by that. And think about how we sometimes say things like that about ourselves. Think about how that can set us up for failure, and it kind of perpetuates a failure response for the future. But on another level, what we could do is we could say the same child comes home with a bad grade and we can say, ouch, that wasn't a good result, but you must be feeling disappointed, but I still love you. And, you know, this kind of thing, bad grades happens to everyone. The whole world has to go through it. We all do that as humans. And I know you want to get your grades up, so what can I do to help you? So that more compassionate energy with your child will help them improve and feel supported by you and the universe, okay? And there is some really, really, really good news. So self-compassion is very strongly related to less depression, less anxiety, and it is equated with motivation, positivity, healthy lifestyle choices, and interpersonal relationships. So this is why self-compassion is so important. And I know over the last few weeks we did confidence and other things, self-love. But self-compassion is one of those things that's going to really lift up your self-esteem and make you more stable as a person. So it's also now when you build up your self-compassion, it doesn't just help you overall with your whole life. It can help you in a very difficult situation. So when we feel grief or guilt or shame, when we feel those things, we need to remember that it's okay to have those feelings and to overcome that situation. And self-compassion helps you in that moment if a bad situation comes up. Okay, I have a very interesting example and to share with the group. So I joined Toastmasters. It's a group that helps people to learn how to speak more confidently. And I hadn't joined for very long when I chose to take on a very big role. I decided to take the role of running the whole meeting. So an hour and 15 minutes, I was the person that was going to hand over between the different parts of the meeting and make sure that everything ran well. And I had a script to follow. And of course, I made a mistake. Yes. Now, it wasn't on the script. There was a piece missing of the script, but I should have known better because I did know that I was supposed to call for the times at one section and I forgot. And one of the more experienced members, she shouted out at me, no, you need to stop and take the times. And of course, being in that really vulnerable place, I was quite shaken. And I had to actually just take a breath. And I could have kind of collapsed inwards, imploded, and handed over the role to somebody else and said, just please take over. But I didn't. I had to do those quick checks with self-compassion and say to myself, it's okay that I made a mistake. I'm actually in the process of learning. Everyone here is in the process of learning, and that it's okay. So in that moment, when you've got all the whole eyes of the whole audience on you and you've made a mistake, and you've got these people judging you, that's when it's really critical to bring up the self-compassion and say to yourself very, very quickly, it's okay. I made a mistake and it's okay. Now, to a lot of people, that wouldn't have been a problem. They would have just carried on. Oh, well, they made a mistake. But for me, it was very difficult. So that's why I thought I would share that with everyone because you can get caught off. Now, maybe public speaking is fine for some of you, but maybe there's another area in your life where you struggle. And that's where you need to bring in your self-compassion and say to you, allow yourself to be open-hearted toward yourself. And then you can suddenly have the strength to show compassion to others and for other people's and situations. And if you know how to be a good friend to someone else, then you can start to be a good friend to yourself. Do you have any experiences, Lara, that you would like to share with us where you had a situation come up?
Okay, I don't know if you believe me, but this morning I woke up and my car was gone. My car.
Your car? No, I don't believe it. No, really?
The council took it.
Wow. Okay.
I parked where I shouldn't park, but I didn't see the sign. I didn't read the sign correctly.
Oh my goodness.
today.
Oh, you need a lot of self-compassion. You made a mistake and it's okay.
Is amazing how the experience is just fitting with our spiritual class?
Oh, perfect
You were
timing.
talking
Perfect
about
timing.
compassion. I said, wow, she just come at the right time. It's like an angel.
It's okay that you made a mistake, Laura. It's okay.
Still.
Definitely. And I know, and in the heat of that moment when you've realized that this is going on, is just, it's such a horrible, dreadful feeling that you've made a mistake and you have to quickly get over it, because the sooner you get over it, the sooner you raise your vibration back up, and everything compounds each other. So I totally know where you're at there. I'm glad I
But also, what you were saying earlier is important to be in the state of self-love when you feel very vulnerable.
Yes, absolutely. I hope everybody hears that message today that watches this, because yeah, that is when we need it the most. Absolutely. And we can have, carry on.
Yeah, also because it's the ego that see as a failure, where the soul sees just a lessons, and it's okay.
Yes, yes. So the little nurturing the ego, it's okay. Just have a little seed down, is okay. We will fix it. Whatever it is, we'll fix it. And I think there's people are struggling with the balance, because on the one hand, we don't ever want to be overconfident and take things for granted. But I think anybody watching this video or being part of this group will just not be that person. So we don't have to worry about being overconfident, because we're not those people. We have to worry about the other side, where we can be underconfident. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. So what we can do now is, I've just planned to do a little bit of tapping again to get us into what we can do in circumstances when we need to feel more compassion. And do you have any other suggestions, Laura, about what we can do to improve our self-compassion?
Yes, have a talk to your inner child.
Yeah.
Love, talk to yourself like with the word you want to hear it. Okay. But you have to be responsible to be the giver and the receiver. Okay. So you need to be on the parents that comfort you and the child that need to be comforted. Okay, that's a good idea. So just because there's a lot of people that have never spoken to their inner child, how would you suggest you start up a conversation? Would you just say, inner child, I'm here for you, I'm hoping, whatever? How would you start? Is on YouTube, they may found a meditation to, like a guided meditation to meet the inner child. Oh, because it could be quite tricky to say, hey, inner child, where the hell are you? It's like someone says you're somewhere. Where are you? I want to see you. Come out. But in psychology, there is two inner child: the adventurer inner child and the one who wanted to be comforted inner child. So it's actually, you need to deal with both of them. But yes, just talk to yourself with the most lovely words you can ever want to talk to a child, and just pretend you are the child until you meet your inner child. Yes. I mean, sometimes we can find our inner child having a temper tantrum. So then it's very obvious that it's there. There it is, showing up, having a temper tantrum. But I think also if we love ourselves and have self-love and self-compassion, then those temper tantrums don't tend to come up, because the inner child is satisfied. We are doing things that the inner child likes and wants, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. All right, so let's start today by starting our process. I'm going to do what I normally do. Oh, are you okay? Yeah, the phone dropped. You were upside down for a moment.
Okay. Well, when you're ready, let's start our process of meditation. We'll do some nice, easy breathing. Breathing in and out, and just feel the earth at our feet and the chair at our back. And let's focus for a moment on the soft velvetiness of the inside of our eyelids as we go in, in. And let's go down, down, down. Let's go all the way down to the center of the earth. And when we get there, let's invite those beautiful crystal energies to come up, up, up through each and every one of our chakras. Just breathe them in wonderfully. Let's breathe them into the count of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Let's do that one more time, and let's focus on Mother Earth energy and how she loves us unconditionally and how she wishes to support and nurture us every day. So let's breathe that into the count of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Let's focus now on going up, 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 all the way to the energy of the sun behind the sun. When we get there, let's invite that living light intelligence to come down, 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 all the way down to our chakra system. Let's breathe that in. 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Just feel that energy washing through our chakras, just helping them feel new, invigorated, fresh, shiny. Just notice how the energy from the earth meets the energy from the sky inside each chakra, and they meld together, combining their energies and lighting up each chakra like big, bright, beautiful stars. That's magical, very magical. Let's breathe that in again to the count of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Wonderful. Just feel what you're feeling into right now, and just allow yourself to be very present in your body and your mind. And in terms of self-compassion, notice what you feel physically and what you feel emotionally, and realize what is your percentage of self-compassion on a scale of 100, 1 to 100. How much self-compassion do you have in your vibration? And this is not about judging yourself. If the number is very low, that's fine. You're in the right place to do something about it. Just notice that first number that pops into your head. Just breathe into that number, and just notice also any thoughts or beliefs or memories that might crop up. And now letting you know, and now they are letting you know that they are causing you to feel a lack of self-compassion. And let's thank those beliefs and memories for showing up now. Let's thank them for allowing us to know that they exist so that we can clear them away. We really appreciate them. Okay, and now we're going to open our eyes to get ready to start our tapping. So we're going to start tapping on our hand, and we're going to say, I choose to be more compassionate to myself. I choose to love and accept myself. I choose to be much more compassionate towards myself. I choose to love and honor myself. And I choose to be much, much more compassionate towards myself. And I know that I deserve that compassion. I choose to feel a lot more self-compassion. And I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself and anyone else who affects my self-compassion. And I choose to be more compassionate towards myself. Okay. I choose to treat myself with more care. And I choose to know that I deserve that care. I choose to release any doubts about my self-compassion. And I release any and all old programming. I choose to be much more compassionate towards myself. And I know that the world is a tough place. And I know I am tough enough to survive it. And I know that I am capable of achieving great results. Because I am more compassionate with myself. I'm becoming more compassionate with myself every day. And I accept that I am a powerful co-creator. And I have always done the best I could. And that it's okay. And in fact, it's better than okay. Sometimes my best is better than at other times. Okay. And I can clear out old programming so that I understand unequivocally that I am self-compassionate. I give myself permission to be open to the possibility that I can be even more compassionate to myself, and that it's safe to handle any situation with self-compassion. I have already handled everything that has happened in my life. And I can clear away anything that obstructs my self-compassion. When I choose to be self-compassionate, I allow myself to feel so much better. And I can think more clearly. I can achieve better results and be better. I choose to be more compassionate towards myself, much more caring towards myself. And this gives me greater freedom. I choose to be more compassionate towards myself and others. I am already compassionate towards others. And now I can be more compassionate towards myself. I choose now to release any old programming that holds me back from being more loving towards myself. I've cleared out old programs and beliefs. I've cleared out old fears. I allow myself to recognize that truth, that I'm worthy and deserving of compassion. It's really good for me. It helps me to be a better person. And I'm allowing myself to be a lot more compassionate towards myself. I choose now to release old programming, anything that holds me back from being more loving toward myself. I've cleared out old programs and beliefs. I've cleared out old fears. I allow myself to recognize that truth, that I'm worthy and deserving of compassion. It's really good for me. It helps me to be a better person in body, mind, and spirit. Well done. Now take a deep breath. You can close your eyes if you wish. Just relax into your mind and have a look around inside your mind now. What's going on now for you? Do you feel better? Do you feel more magical? Do you feel more freedom? And just doing a little appraisal now. On a scale of 1 to 100, how much self-compassion you now have. Okay. And I just have to say, well done to each and every one of you that has done this exercise today, because you have acknowledged your newfound self-compassion. And you can understand that the more compassion you have for yourself, the more you have for others, and ultimately the more you will bring to the world, the more joy you will bring to the world, the more love, the more gifts you can bring forward. And just think about that for a moment. Just think how magical that is. And also just know that anything, any thoughts or memories that came up during the tapping round today, things that you might have not allowed yourself to dwell on in the past, things that came forward to you, all those things you can do more tapping on and clear them up so that you are free from that negativity, free from all of that. Okay, Laura, would you like to share your experience?
Yes, as a healer, when I give healing, I do a lot of yawning and a lot of bepping,
Yes.
just for me to communicate that the person I'm working with, energy is moving, and I couldn't stop yawning when I was doing the tapping.
A good sign that things are shifting out of your vibration,
Yeah.
just letting them go, letting them
Yeah.
go. And do you know, I think, you know, it would be so nice if we could just press a button and everything was done and dusted forever, but that's not what spirituality is like. It's a practice, just like you have to practice yoga and you have to practice all these things. So you put your scores in the chat. Yeah, so you started at 84 and you're up to 94, but those are both high scores, so I'm very, very proud of you for already being so high in this area.
Working on it.
Yeah, you've done a lot of work. It's interesting that you're experiencing what I experienced. Every time I do work on myself, clearing blocks and everything, more layers are cleared, and it's just interesting. I keep thinking, wow, I've done so much, and then another layer comes up for clearing. So it's a process, definitely.
But you see, if we wouldn't expect to experience that, put that in the solution, in that situation of the feeling, we would never know what is in us.
Yeah.
So we need bad experience, what we judge as an ego, to be able to then remove the energy and grow. I mean, we can only grow in the dark. We can't grow in the light.
You're going to shine some light on these things so that we can grow. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I'm in the hot seat for a long time with lots of spotlights on me. Yeah. Yeah. How much more spotlights can I take today?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. It's very good, Lara. Very, very good. Well done. I think just showing up, doing the work is so important, part of the journey. And I always think of this spiritual work like a little treat for myself to keep going and to do little things to improve. It's like a little treat that I allow myself the time to do. So yeah, very, very good. Well done for you also.
Thank you.
And I must say, I am personally getting interested in how tapping is working for me, because my go-to always was meditation, and I still do a lot of meditation, but I really am enjoying the tapping just to see how it's taking me further on my journey. It's very, very good. Yeah. What has your experience been like with tapping so far?
Very good.
Yeah.
I heard, well, living in spirituality, you hear a lot of things, but then you're like, oh, I don't want to add another technique to my skills, but actually it's the second time I experience it with you.
Yeah.
And this is the closest experience I had with tapping, but it's very interesting. Like the yawning today confirmed that for me might be something that I should take in consideration.
Yes. Very good. Yeah, I've noticed the yawning is very good. That's a visual clue that a lot is happening for somebody on a soul level. Lots of deepness is being released. So well done. Okay. Well, I think I will. Well, today was the last of the 5-week challenge to do tapping every week for 5 weeks. I try to do it every day, but I just didn't have the time. So I thought once a week I can do it with everyone. Will be very, very good. Okay, and yeah, perhaps next time we can chat to you about entity releasing again, if you want to talk about that.
I don't think they're gonna take the car away next time. Today I was pushing my luck. Today is a coincidence.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so well, I do wish you every bit of luck getting your car back and sorting all that out, and the difficultiness of that. The lesson, there's an underlying lesson there somewhere. Yeah.
But if there is one day I'm free on a Tuesday, I'll let you know as soon as I know.
Okay, no, that'll be good. I think we need to revisit the entity things again, because they come up all the time for all the different people that I work with. So yeah, it's really, really important work. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's see now. The next part of the call today, I planned to do some prayers to bring in help for those people that have contacted me privately and asked for a prayer for everybody in this call to help them with. So I'm going to start the prayer part of our day. So did you want to ask for anything out loud, Laura, or do you want to just keep it in your mind?
Not sure.
Okay, just keep it in your mind.
Yes.
That we will pray for you to have success with your whatever's going on for you at the moment.
Journey. Yes.
All right. Okay, so we give thanks for the opportunity to be in this place of service to each other and to the Creator today. We thank the angelic realm, the beings of 100% light, for being present in our work today. We ask for complete alignment with our higher selves, and it is our desire now to remove all veils of perception filters that we are able to remove right now. We ask to remove all negativity, seen or unseen, for our highest good right now. And we ask for the codes and the energy transmissions we need in order to make us aware and to clear and remove all of the veils that are stopping us from making the most of our human experience this day. We now release these veils and our attachments to our old limiting ways of perception. We allow ourselves to live free of conditioning, and we allow ourselves to see, feel, and walk in truth. We ask our spiritual guide team to protect us and to hold space for us so that we can easily receive this energy transformation. We pray now for those who are struggling with different ailments, trials, and tribulations brought forward in the third dimension. We pray for those who need a little extra help to push through the darkness, and we ask that the angels and archangels help them by easing their burdens for them. Please help them to find ways to ease their suffering and find ways to raise their own vibration, so that each one can heal themselves and in turn have the strength and fortitude to heal others and those around them. Okay, we ask that we may be transported to an etheric retreat this night so that we might receive further healing and training appropriate for us. We ask for a good night's sleep and that we awaken refreshed, and we ask for a benevolent outcome and a magical day for all of those that we come into contact with, everyone that we care about. Amen. Okay. Wow. I felt like that prayer was quite deep, actually. I felt like something was changing in my brain. I felt like I had things happening, some angels touching my head as I was saying the words. It was very, very, very nice. Felt very magical. Very good, good. Okay, so coming up next month, there's going to be the Lionsgate portal that we're going to talk about. I'm going to do a meditation on that and do quite a bit of work on that one. But in the meantime, if there's anything that you would like me to discuss on these calls, please let me know. And I will bring that forward for everybody to help everybody shift in their spirituality. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for joining the call.
Oh, you're kidding me. Thank you for being there just like this.
Oh, my
I feel
pleasure.
so grateful.
That's my pleasure, Lara. Really, really good to see you. And I'm pleased you showed up when, you know, someone else might not have shown up. They might have put their head in the sand or felt different about it. So very, very well done to you for showing up.
Thank you.